Welcome back to Week. My name's William, and along with my fiancée Laura and my brother Andrew, we run the Attachment Company. This is our weekly series that takes you behind the scenes and shows you everything involved with running a small business like ours. The Attachment Company provide a wide range of hydraulic and mechanical earth moving attachments for skid steers, diggers, excavators, backhoes and much more. If you've seen any of these videos before, welcome back. If you're new here, let me show you around. We're starting this week with a fairly big one. If you watched, I think it was 2 episodes ago, we took our first delivery of Attachworks attachments. That's our own attachment brand. We can go into more detail on that if you wish. I'll no doubt go into some more detail on that further on in this week's video. We received our first container of attachments into our warehouse in Denver. Well, our first container load of attachments to come here to our warehouse in Scotland has left. That's him getting loaded at the factory in India. That's the factory I was at back in September. Click here to watch that video where I go and take you a tour around the factory. That's left India today, so I don't know how many weeks it'll be. With the Red Sea delays and everything going on there, it'll be quite a few weeks before it reaches here, but still really cool to see that happening and get to that point. Other than that, we've got a couple of orders that we've taken today that will be going out tomorrow. We've got one that's hanging over from last week. So I'm just up in the warehouse just now, getting some of them ready between today and tomorrow. So I'm just up in the warehouse getting that cradle hitch ready. That's one we dropped off at the welders last week. I'll show you around the modifications to that in a second. And there's another couple of orders to go out tomorrow. I'll work on some of them today, some of them tomorrow morning. And of course, I'll show you around everything that's going on. So that's the update. That's a bit about us. That's a bit about this weekly series. Let's go. Whatever comes up, whatever happens behind the scenes, I'll make sure and show you. Let's go. Let's attack the week and make it a good one. Tuesday morning, we're in the warehouse and we're starting off this day the same way as we start off the majority of other weekdays. That is packing some orders. I've looked out some different attachments here for 3 different orders. Let me quickly show you around what we're packing up, then we'll get these out. First up, our log splitting cone. This is a 250mm version. There's a 200mm diameter. There's a 250, which is this one, and then there's a big 300mm diameter. This is the middle size with the 65mm round fitment. Oh, nearly dropped it. That fits pretty much all of our auger torque drive units. The double pin cradle hitch from yesterday with the log splitter locking ring. So this locking ring holds your drive unit solid. I'll try and put a picture in here to show you. While you're using the splitter cone, the same cone that we've just looked at. This is also the hitch bracket that was modified at the blacksmiths. It started off as a 35mm pin. They've turned down lathe down the centre to 30, and they've increased this dipper width to suit the customer's machine. That's for the customer last week that we sent out the package deal for the Avant. I think that's from memory going on a 1.5 ton Sani, an SY16 or an SY19, I can't quite remember, and a 250mm stump planer over there. That's going to a customer in the north of Scotland. We've packed up some of them before and I've shown them on this series, but we'll cut in some footage here of the stump planer working as well, just to give you an idea of what it is. So that's a brief run through of what we're packing up this morning. Nothing big and exciting, but it's the sort of orders that just keeps us going every day. So I'm going to strap all these to the pallets, get them wrapped up and get them out of here. Just like that, 3 orders done, packed, labelled, ready to go. I mentioned at the end of last week's episode that we had a couple of breakers that were dropped off by a customer to get serviced and repaired. I told you I would show you around them and I completely forgot. So let me do that right now. The colour scheme and the brand on these should be familiar. They are a couple of GB breakers, which is the same brand that we sell. A 4TL for a 14 tonner. And a little, I think that's an little N60. You can see the issue with this one. The bottom bush is completely out of it. And the big one is needing tested, checked over and re-gassed. It's a suspected gas issue with the big breaker. It works, but it's not firing properly, so we'll get it on a machine here, we'll get it tested out first, hopefully this week, so we can get it back to the customer. He's got a buyer waiting on that. And the little one, we'll need to get some parts ordered, get it stripped, get it checked over, get some parts ordered, then we'll get it back together. That's a quick look around them. I promise I'll fill you in with all the details when we get to actually testing them and fixing them later in the week. If you watched episode 22 of Week to Week, you'll know that we had a little bit of a problem with these, a 200mm log splitting cone. If you haven't seen that episode, I'll link it in here, go watch the full thing. I won't bore you completely with all of the details of the issue we had, it is in that episode. Here's the problem, that is the 65mm round output shaft hitting the inside of the cone, and as you can see is nowhere near, there's the hole there, is nowhere near to lining up with the retaining hole. Well, the solution to said problem should be in this crate. This just arrived literally 20 minutes ago from the factory in India. So let's get it open, see what's in it, and I'll show you around. Well packed, I can tell you that much for nothing. The solution should be these. Let me see what else is in here quickly first. Square adapters. We also had a little issue with the square adapters. I'm sure I showed that in the episode as well. There's some replacement sample pieces for those in this box as well. Cool. We'll test out the square adapter shortly, but first let me show you around the solution for the 200mm cones. So the issue we had with the 200mm cones specifically was the clearance to allow the 65mm round output shaft from our drive units to actually enter the cone. So the proposed solution, so we can still use the stock of 200s we've got, was to do an adapter. So I'm finding this out at the same time as you. I'll get a socket, I'll take that bolt out first. Ha ha ha. We appear to have a clearance issue again. Those adapters don't want to go into the cone. Okay, panic averted. Took a break, went and got my lunch, came back, thought this through, and we're good, we're nearly there. Took the paint off, the paint was causing the clearance issues. I've buffed most of the paint off, I'm just going to do the rest, but I think we're good, I think it fits. Give me a minute and I'll show you. Okay, I possibly overreacted slightly, a little bit prematurely, but we're good. It was just the paint affecting the clearance. Buffed that off, fitted up, bolted in, pinned in, all good. Let me show you around, fairly self-explanatory. Did I just get in a fight with a cone splitter drop the camera, break the camera, cut my hand, sadly. Yes I did. But let's not talk about that. That's why I'm now just on this GoPro, so sorry for the shaky footage. Let me quickly show you around this adapter here before I call it quits for the night. There you go, that's the idea. Bolt-on adapter, 65mm round hub. I've tested that with an extension bar. In fact, I should be able to show you. This is where I drop the whole lot again. 65mm round. There we go, nice and snug. Much better. Means we can still use the cones we've got, and the follow-up ones, not the next lot that's coming, the lot after that, the design's been changed like I mentioned in that last episode, so this won't be an issue. But yeah, I've touched that up, the paint wise, it's ready to go. I'm just letting it dry. It can go tomorrow. I will pack that up tomorrow, but for today I've got gloves on because I've cut my hand with the cone, and yeah, me and that log splitting cone have just had a falling out, so I'm going to get down to the office. I've got our usual Tuesday night USA meeting today, so I'm going to get down to the office, get ready for that, get on a meeting with Andrew. Unless anything major turns up, it's Tuesday evening, we're in the warehouse, and that is Tuesday done. Apologies, we're reduced to one camera for this morning due to yesterday's technical difficulties. Packed up that log splitter cone from yesterday, that's ready to go this morning. That is all of the orders going out today. Other than that, there are obviously those breakers I mentioned. We might get to them today, that might be tomorrow. We need to go see a customer about some flails. I might be able to show you that, I might not. I need to take some flails over. We'll definitely be able to show you it once the job's done, but it'll all make sense, I promise you. Otherwise, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to get this out. Probably go to the office for a couple of hours, some things to catch up with there, some quotes to send out, and then we might get to those breakers. We'll see what the afternoon has to bring. Right, it is Wednesday evening, not quite evening, afternoon. Just been to the welders there, picked up the bracket for the planer, picked up another cradle bracket for an auger, which I'll show you as well. Planers left Italy, I got notification of that yesterday, so that should be here in a couple of days. That'll let us get that order done. I am heading back towards the yard now. I have a meeting on the way there. It's a bit of a last minute thing. Hopefully I can share some details with you. I will let you know that just shortly. Otherwise, regardless, fairly productive afternoon. I was supposed to see a customer when I was out there about a couple of attachments. One exciting thing in particular, which hopefully I can share with you by the end of this week. Turns out he was unavailable, he was held up. Long story short, didn't get to happen. Should be on the cards for tomorrow or Friday. And yeah, other than that, that's probably us for Wednesday. Thursday morning, we're in the warehouse. Excuse the shakier than normal camera footage. I'm still working with one camera after the other day's breakdown. Here's a quick look at the two brackets picked up yesterday. That's a 3CX bracket for a Cymex planer and an auger cradle with a bolt part on top. I'll get them painted over the weekend. They'll be ready to go start of the week. Packed up an order for an S4 225 tungsten auger and a cradle hitch and a log splitter cone. So they're both out this morning. Let me check. Nothing else to go today. That's all for today's orders. Got a couple to get ready for tomorrow. We'll probably do them tomorrow morning. I can't remember if I mentioned on here last week, I was at a local customer looking at some flail options. Going to go back there today. Going to take a couple, probably take this TC3 and there's a TC2 right in the back there. Probably take them with us, offer them up to the machine. We need to build brackets and things, so hopefully I can show you a little bit more around that, either when we get there today or when we go back to fit it. But that should be kind of cool. I like those ones that gets you thinking a bit. Also took an order this morning for a Canjini flail. That one there, to be precise, a TC160 for a Kubota U27. So we'll get that down, we'll get the bracket done over the weekend, we'll get that out on Monday. So yeah, busy day so far, busy morning. I have a meeting scheduled this evening for our USA business, so need to get everything done here kind of as quick as. I can't really miss this or be late for this, so orders are out. I'm going to grab these flails down, I'm going to get them loaded, I'm going to get away, and yeah, I'll let you know what else comes up in the meantime. Right, we're back. It is 4:30 Thursday afternoon. It was a good trip out. Went and mopped up the flail next to the machine we're putting it on. I really want to show you the pictures in here, but I don't really want to jinx it, so I'll show you in the process, then I'll show you when we're done. But should be a cool little setup, not something we've done before. I had to be back, hopefully I can get rid of this cold that I'm working with. Had to be back here for 5, got a meeting on with the USA team, so going to get the trailer off, going to get something to drink and get ready for that. Morning, Friday morning, just on the way into the warehouse this morning. I say this morning, it's a little bit later on. Went to pick up one of these from the local blacksmiths, same place that's done our welding for our last couple of big hitch brackets. This pin looks familiar because it is a copy of one of our auger pins, just slightly longer. I will show you shortly why that is required. Yeah, because it's required for one of today's orders. So I have a bit of a mess in here. I pulled some things out yesterday to get some flails out, so I'm going to put that back. I'm going to get on with this morning's orders and I'll show you around them in a minute. Let me talk you through this morning's orders. Little set of Pallet Forks there for a Cat 302.5. That's going to a good customer of ours in Ayrshire. They came in yesterday. We didn't do a whole lot to them. We've had them in order for a wee while and back out today. Packing up a 300mm log splitter cone, which is what the pin I picked up this morning was for. You can see, if I show you now, that's our standard S5 pin, would normally be used for the 75mm square hub. But these hub adapters for the big splitter cones, I'll show you the problem just now. Can't get the linch pin in to hold it in place, so went this morning, got a longer one made. I'll put it that way and show you. There. Nothing fancy, but another reason why good local craftsmen are vital to a company like ours. That one pin would have held this whole order up, so being able to just go somewhere local, get one made to what is a fairly custom one-off piece is really, really important to us. So big log splitter cone on the way out, set of Pallet Forks already done. What else is on the board? A couple of other things we can definitely get out today, so I'm going to finish packing up this cone and I'll show you around the rest of the orders in a minute. This should be the last order for today. It is, I know it looks used, it looks second hand. It is actually a brand new auger. They'd been sitting outside down at Cheltenham for a period of time. We bought them, I think we bought a dozen maybe, at a fairly good price, and they've been sitting out here since. That is the last one of the lot, so they were at a good deal to us, means we can make it a good deal to the customer as well. So as much as it looks a bit weathered, it is pretty much, and it is brand new other than the bit of surface rust. You see the teeth there are in brand new condition. There was a tooth missing out, it's I've fitted a new one on there. Yeah, I won't bother showing you me packing it up, it's the same as the other two this morning, but get that done, and then I'm just thinking through what else we've got to do, about a dozen other things. So get that picked up, and then I'll show you what the plan is for this afternoon. Order's done for the day. That's some brackets looked out that we need to make today and tomorrow for Monday. Fingers crossed with one of the screening buckets going out on Monday. That's what one of those brackets are for. There's one for a flail, and there's one for an existing order, just for an auger cradle bracket. So, whew, I'm knackered. And climbing up there and getting the brackets down. That's pretty much us for warehouse happenings on Friday. I'm going to go get in the office for a couple of hours. I think it's 3 o'clock, something like that just now. Unless anything unforeseen comes up, that'll be us for Friday. Good morning, Saturday morning. Actually a lovely morning outside. Just up in the warehouse just now. Got a few things I really want to get done today to get us a bit of a head start for next week. Those couple of brackets we picked up during the week, I need to get them painted. But first, we're going to go take a look at these hydraulic breakers. I showed you them start of the week, I think. I'm going to go get the big one, put it on a machine, see what it's doing, and let's go for there. Breaker's piped up, we've got it on a Doosan DX140 LCR. Let's go and see what it's doing, or not doing as the case may be. Not what I expected to happen. The breaker was dropped off to us with a suspected gas issue, reported poor performance, wasn't braking properly. As you've just seen, that at least in this setup on this excavator does not seem to be the issue at all. Which kind of means we can't fix something that's not broken, but what we can do, just as a matter of course, going to check the gas pressure in it anyway. If you're familiar with breakers, this will make sense. If you're not familiar, hydraulic breakers like this are powered by your hydraulic system on your excavator, and they also have a section of nitrogen gas in them, and it's a nitrogen gas that when the piston compresses a gas, it's that then opposite force that pushes it back down, hits the chisel, and therefore gives you your braking ability. That's a very simple explanation. I've probably completely butchered that, but regardless, there's gas in it. The gas needs to be kept at a certain pressure, and if that pressure drops, which is what we thought might be the issue with this breaker, what you get is reduced performance, very little actual braking force at the chisel, and it just brakes really slowly. But that does not seem to be the issue. But it's here anyway, it's a customer's breaker. I'm going to check it for gas. I'm going to show you what that looks like just now, and then I think it'll be good for them to pick up again. Okay, we've fitted the gas valve. We're going to take a quick reading. Hard to see because of the gauge there, but that's sitting at about 12.5 bar. Now if you have a different breaker to this one, you will need to get the spec sheet for your specific breaker. Fortunately, GB is the brand that we sell and we support, so we've got the spec sheet for this. I'll put it up here. There is the 4TL, which is what this breaker is, and there's the gas reading, 16 bar, 232 psi. So it is slightly low. It's about 12.5 bar compared to the manufacturer's spec. So we've got a bottle of nitrogen anyway. Just going to top it up, make sure it is back to 100% factory spec before we send it back to the customer. Okay, we've connected the breaker to our bottle of nitrogen, and I have actually topped the pressure up as well. You can see it there on the bottle reading 16 bar, and we can check it down here on the breaker as well. A nice solid 16 bar sitting holding pressure. That's pretty much the steps to checking and gassing up the nitrogen pressure in a hydraulic breaker. The process changes slightly depending on the brand and the design, but the general principle is exactly the same. So I'm going to get this put away, get the plate back on, quickly give this another test, make sure it's good to go, and that'll be us done. Sunday evening, yep, 5:30 Sunday evening. Wasn't quite planning a full day of work today, but it's almost turned into that. Painted up another couple of brackets this morning. They're ready for tomorrow. I'll show you them tomorrow, which will be next week's episode actually. What I'm working on at the moment though, let me show you. Working on some bucket designs for our new Attach Works brand. Some S-type buckets. Let me get some cable buckets, digging buckets, grading buckets. Just a big range of buckets in different sizes. There's a little nameplate and Pallet Forks. It's obviously quite a big commitment. We're trying to order a stock, a little bit of a stock stroke sample order. I want to get some here for Scotland at the end of April. So I'm trying to really get these designs dialed in so we're good to go and they make it here in time. So that's what I was working on for a couple of hours. Also, when I remember, episode 24 of Week to Week is live now. I'll link it up here somewhere. I just put that out this morning as well. It's the first fortnight back in January, so we're really catching up with these now. We should be quite close to being up the back of this week's episode. We will have the following one, which will be the third week in January, to episode 25. Will be out Wednesday coming, and then our plan is to get on a schedule of these videos coming out every Wednesday. So yeah, that's the plan. Done a bit today. Made some good progress, which I'm happy about. Don't mind coming out on a Sunday if you actually feel like you're making some progress. So got some things lined up for next week as well. Some really exciting things that hopefully I can show you next week. If not, it'll be the following couple. Oh, and one final thing is Auger Torque, who you know if you've watched any of these, is one of our biggest manufacturers, biggest suppliers. You see me packing their attachments on here every single week. Have just opened their new factory in Ningbo, China. So I'm going to cut a little video in here to show you a little bit of the opening ceremony. That was earlier this week. Was it earlier this week? No, Sunday past actually is when it was. Sunday's apparently a lucky day for things like that in China. So that is their new facility opened there in Ningbo. Hoping to get there by the end of this year, which would be really cool. And it would make some really cool content to show you as well. So yeah, that's the big news for this week. It's 5:30, Sunday evening. I'm done. I'm going in to get my dinner, and call it a week at that. If you have made it again to the end of this video, your support is thoroughly appreciated. If you go down below, hit subscribe, you'll be doing me a massive favour. And again, just thank you if you've made it right to the end of this video. And if there's anything else you want me to bring up, to show, to elaborate on more in future episodes, please let me know in the comment section as well. But other than that, thank you for watching. Catch us next week.